Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered where the time has gone? Or perhaps you are young, and you wish you could speed things up to be seen as an adult. Imagine for a moment that you could. Imagine a world where age is not a river carrying you forward, but a lake you can swim in. You could choose to be 25 on Monday and 55 on Friday. This simple choice would change everything we know about life. It would challenge our understanding of what it means to grow, to learn, and to simply be. It is a fascinating idea, one that touches the very core of our existence and our place in the universe. Aging is a natural process. Our bodies are like machines that slowly wear down over time. Our cells stop repairing themselves as well as they once did. We gather wrinkles, our hair turns gray, and our energy fades. For many, the idea of stopping this process is a dream. They want to hold on to the strength and beauty of youth forever. Others might wish to be older, to have the respect and wisdom that comes with age. They might want to skip the awkward years of being a teenager and jump straight to adulthood. The desire to control our age comes from a deep human need to control our own lives and our own stories. If we could choose our age, the very idea of a family would transform in ways we can barely imagine. Picture a family gathering. Your grandmother might choose to look 20 again, the same age as her granddaughter. Your father might decide to relive his childhood, becoming a 10-year-old boy playing with toys on the floor. How would this change relationships? A mother and daughter could become sisters for a while, sharing experiences as peers. Friendships could last for centuries, with friends deciding to grow old together, then young again, starting a new chapter. The lines that define our roles would blur into something new and unknown. This power would ripple through every part of our society, starting with the simple act of meeting someone new. When you ask someone their age, what would that even mean? Would it be their physical age, the one they have chosen for today? Or would it be their chronological age, the actual number of years they have been alive? This simple question suddenly becomes complicated. Identity would become a fluid concept. You could be a wise old soul in the body of a child, or a young, inexperienced person in the body of an elder. It would force us to look beyond physical appearances and see the true person within, a person defined by their experiences, not the year they were born. Let's think about our daily lives in such a world. Schools would be completely different. You might have a classroom where a 10-year-old body sits next to a 70-year-old one. The student who looks like a child could actually be the teacher, a brilliant professor who has lived for 200 years but prefers the energy of a younger form. Learning would no longer be just for the young. People could go back to school at any point in their lives to learn a new skill or start a new career. The university campus would be a mix of all physical ages, a place where knowledge is shared between generations that no longer look like generations at all. The world of work would also be turned on its head. Imagine a company where the CEO has chosen to be 22, full of fresh ideas and boundless energy. The intern, on the other hand, might be a 400-year-old soul who simply wants a less stressful job. Experience would become more valuable than ever before. A person could spend 50 years as a doctor, then 50 years as an artist, and then another 50 as a scientist. This would create a workforce with incredible depth and a wide range of skills. Retirement might become a temporary vacation, not a final destination for one's career. The economy would have to adapt in massive ways. If people can stay young and healthy forever, they would continue to work and consume. This could lead to incredible economic growth. New industries would be born, catering to age-changing technologies and long-term life plans. But it would also create challenges. What happens to inheritance if no one ever truly passes away? How would we manage resources on a planet with a population that never gets old and frail? We would need new rules, new systems, and a new way of thinking about how we share our world with a potentially immortal population. And what about love and romance? Relationships would face tests we can't even imagine today. You could fall in love with someone who appears to be your age, only to find out they have lived for centuries longer than you. Would that matter? Could you build a life with someone who decides to become a child for a decade, while you wish to remain an adult? Love would have to be based on something deeper than shared life stages. It would have to be a connection between two minds, two souls, who agree to navigate the strange currents of time together, no matter what age they choose to be on the outside. The benefits of choosing our age seem endless at first glance. Think of the knowledge we could accumulate. We would have time to master multiple languages, learn to play every instrument, and read every book ever written. Humanity could solve its greatest problems, like disease and climate change, with generations of scientists working on them without the pressure of a ticking clock. Our potential for creativity and discovery would be limitless. We could become a species of experts, each person a living library of experiences and skills. This could be the dawn of a golden age for human civilization, a time of unprecedented progress and understanding. This power would also grant us a second chance, or a third, or a fourth. Did you make a mistake in your youth? You could simply go back and try a different path. Did you miss out on traveling the world because you had to work? You could become 20 again and set off on an adventure. This ability would erase regret. It would allow us to live many different lives within one lifetime. The feeling of being too old to start something new would vanish completely. It would be a world filled with endless opportunity, where every day could be the first day of a brand new life, full of hope and excitement. But with this great power comes a great danger. What if this choice was not available to everyone? What if only the rich could afford to stay young, while the poor were forced to age naturally? This would create a new and terrible form of inequality. Society would be split into two classes, the ageless and the aging. The ageless would hold all the power, all the wealth, and all the opportunities. The aging would be left behind, a reminder of a past that the powerful have escaped. This division could lead to conflict and resentment on a scale we have never seen before in human history. Even if everyone had this choice, it could lead to profound confusion. Who are you really if you are constantly changing your age? Your identity is shaped by your journey through life, by the challenges you face at different stages. If you can skip the hard parts or endlessly repeat the good parts, do you ever truly grow as a person? You might become stuck, endlessly reliving your favorite age, never moving forward. We could become a society of people who are physically diverse but emotionally stagnant, afraid to face the natural progression of life and the wisdom that comes with it. This ability to choose our age forces us to confront the very purpose of our existence. Is life about the destination or the journey? Our current lives have a clear narrative. We are born, we grow up, we become adults, we grow old, and we pass on what we have learned. Each stage has its own beauty, its own challenges, and its own lessons. The innocence of childhood, the passion of youth, the wisdom of old age. All of these are pieces of a complete human experience. If we could pick and choose, we might lose the story of our own lives, trading it for a collection of disconnected moments. The world would be a crowded place. If people could choose to remain young and healthy, the population would grow without limit. Where would everyone live? How How would we produce enough food and water for a species that has conquered aging? We would have to make difficult choices. Would we need to limit childbirth? Would we have to expand to other planets just to find space? The dream of eternal youth could turn into a nightmare of overpopulation, straining our planet's resources to the breaking point. We would have solved the problem of individual aging only to create a much larger problem for our entire species. Perhaps there is a wisdom in the way things are. Perhaps the fact that our time is limited is what gives it meaning. The knowledge that we will not be here forever is what pushes us to create, to love, and to make our mark on the world. It encourages us to cherish the moments we have with our loved ones. It gives us a reason to pass our knowledge to the next generation. If we had all the time in the world, would we still feel that same urgency? Or would we put everything off until tomorrow? A tomorrow that could stretch on for an eternity. So, as we ponder this incredible power, we must ask ourselves a final question. If you were given the choice to live at any age you desired, for as long as you desired, what would you truly be seeking? Is it youth, or is it happiness? Is it time, or is it meaning? The ability to choose our age would not just change our bodies, it would force us to decide what it truly means to live. And that is a choice that goes far beyond the number of candles on a birthday cake. It is the central question of our own humanity, a puzzle we are all trying to solve within the lifetime we have.